WALL-E on 4K Criterion Blu-ray. I just want to say right off the bat, this is a quadruple dip for me for this movie. I had the Blu-ray, I had the DVD, I had the Blu-ray, I bought the Disney 4K Blu-ray, and then Criterion came out with theirs, and I had to get it. So speaking of the 4K, I switched from a Sony X800 M2 to a Panasonic UB820, and so this is the debut movie on that player, and it looked immaculate. I had heard some scuttlebutt that there was some banding, and I checked those timestamps, and I saw nothing like that on this Blu-ray. On this 4K Blu-ray, I thought it looked pert near perfect. The Dolby Vision HDR on it looked fantastic. Bright brights, beautiful detail in the dark areas, and all the colors just looked super vivid and correct. As far as the Dolby Atmos sound goes, I thought it was on a little on the weak side, so I think next time I watch it, I'm going to do what most people just suggest anyway, and do the DTS soundtrack. So as Wally's going about his day, and he's cruising down the freeway, there's all these little dead Wallys. There's tons of them. Look at that. Dead Wallys everywhere. My kids were a little disturbed by that, mostly because I'm like, look at all the dead Wallys. But it sure comes into play when he throws a tread. So he can take one off a dead Wally body. If you've ever wondered what WALL-E stands for, it stands for Waste Allocation Load Lifter Earth Class. So there you go. So this is pretty potent post-apocalyptic stuff right here. So when he just runs over the by and large money, which it pretty much implies that by and large is like the new government. Anyway, when he runs over the money and just bypasses it because it's not important anymore, it reminds me of that scene in the movie The Road with Viggo Mortensen when they're walking over like the cash registers and you can just see the money all spilled everywhere because they're like scrounging for food. It's kind of reminded me of that same idea where it's post-apocalyptic and the cash does not do anything for you. So I think this part where he finds the fire extinguisher and it basically beats him up, I think that's like foreshadowing for later when he's flying around in space with a fire extinguisher. Would you look at this? It is the Pizza Planet truck from Toy Story. Wow, that beam looks a lot nicer on the TV than it does on the phone. Looks really bad on the phone. Anyway, look at this. Toy Story truck cameo. This might actually be my favorite shot in the entire movie. So that's it, kind of the still version. Let's let it play for a little bit. Where they're just sitting there looking at the fire together. You can see all the heat waves and he's scooching closer to her. He's trying to hold her hand. The whole movie, he's trying to hold her hand, and it's always not a good time for her. A little bit of real life mimicking there. Okay, so you've got Eve with the little plant in there, and then this little guy Mo is scrubbing the foreign contaminant off of her, and then listen to the sound effect of this guy when he does his thing. I'm gonna turn the sound up. All right, listen to this. I don't know if that comes across through the phone, but it sounds like the Foley on that is literally someone just going when it like vacuums her. So I just heard that and just laughed at it this time. That's more like it. I didn't realize this before. I know by and large, like as a mega world corporation taking over everything and industrializing everything and taking the humanity out of everything is already bad. But this part just seemed more sinister. So you've got all these babies that don't seem to have families. And not just because they're in daycare. It seems like they're just like doing artificial insemination or something to keep the population going. I don't think these people are procreating on their own. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. They're doing the alphabet here, and they got to B for by and large. And listen to what the robot says. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Listen to these kids get indoctrinated.
C is for by and large, your very best friend.
Anyway, I just think that's kind of sinister. It's like, B is for by and large, your very best friend. And these are just like little kids, and it's like, just like indoctrinating them to know that by and large is their best friend. Just like showing commercials to kids when they're little. Get them indoctrinated for whatever company the commercial's for. One other thing here while it's showing all these people. So earlier in the movie when it showed the videos of the actual real recorded people in Axiom and like how awesome their lives were, they showed a lot of families and like romantic relationships and like families together all talking and looked like they were on dates and stuff. And now when you're actually here, everyone is completely alone, and they're all just totally isolated in front of their screens. That's another reason I think those babies are not naturally made, because I think this is what is going on, which is funny because like they said, the earlier videos shows everyone being like really active and going on dates and being with their little kids and everything, but this is very isolated. Notice their big awesome pool and absolutely no one is in it. This HAL 9000 reference basically is pretty dang obvious, and he ends up being kind of like HAL. He doesn't like try and murder everyone, but he tries to know better than the humans know based on his directive. And here's a 2-for-1 shot here. A113, that shows up a handful of times right in your face. That's the classroom where a lot of these guys went. A lot of these filmmakers went. So you can look that up. Anyway, they aggressively push that in this one. It's in a lot of movies, but in this one it's like right in your face. Look at this little robot do like a little hiss attack here. Hey, this is mutiny. It's like the part in Fellowship of the Ring where Bilbo he tries to take the ring back from Frodo, and he's like, rah! He like gets the scary teeth. So here is another very in-your-face, obvious 2001: A Space Odyssey reference, which I love all of in this movie. I love all the references to 2001. But you got, I believe it's Thus Spake Zarathustra going on right here. All right, I thought I'd be able to overcome it. People said the remote to the UB820 is dumb because of the placement of the Netflix button. I just totally hit the Netflix button on accident. I was like, no, I can push the right button, but I didn't. So my wife pointed out that in the end credits, you actually have an evolution of art styles. So you just went from like cave drawings to like Egyptian, and it just moves on throughout the end credit. There's some Greek style. Also like that as you're watching them work, you're watching them get thinner and thinner during the credits. Here you go, now it's the Monet style. And then it moves into an awesome Van Gogh looking style, or Van Gogh. Look at that, all this bird moving around. It's cool to see something in Van Gogh style moving like that. Ironically, it goes from Van Gogh to video game artwork looking stuff. All right, WALL-E on 4K. I totally love this movie, and it never gets old, and I just love all the sci-fi inspirations and references, and the fact that WALL-E straight up just looks like Johnny Number 5 from Short Circuit. So on the Criterion edition, there's a handful of new special features, and there's a whole bunch of old stuff. The one I'm way more excited and enthusiastic about is called Where It Began, The Origins of WALL-E. It's 23 minutes and 34 seconds long. That seems like it'll be the most meaty, specifically for this movie. All right, well, I think this was a huge upgrade, and I'm super glad I bought it and watched it. And I think my kids really liked it. They were asking a lot of questions because it's super visual storytelling. They're not really talking to you very much. So they definitely had a lot of questions of like, what's going on? But I really think they liked it a lot. And then actually, I remember this. My 3-year-old was pretending that WALL-E was following her around for the rest of the day. So I had to say hi to WALL-E when she walked up to me in the kitchen. And then when I buckled her in her car seat, I had to buckle in WALL-E as well, who was invisible. So I had to kind of play along with that. But that was super cute. Anyway, this movie looked outstanding on 4K with Dolby Vision. I think I'm gonna do the DTS HD Master Audio next time instead of the Dolby Atmos. Maybe get a little bit more punch out of it, but this was awesome. Let me know what you think of this movie, if you like this movie, if you like the sci-fi movies that this movie is inspired by, and if you watched it this far, please let me know. So, thanks. Bye. Actually, I'm going to show you footage of me trying to get some reaction out of my kids. It didn't work. Okay, thanks, bye. All right, we just watched WALL-E on Criterion 4K, because you can't say 4K anymore, because there's 2 of them. Okay, what'd you say, Evie?
I like it.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, we watched WALL-E, and I'm trying to see what the kids thought, but they won't hold still and listen and help. So I think Evie woke up and came in halfway through. Did you like WALL-E, Evie?
Yeah.
Is it scary?
I like
You liked WALL-E?
Yeah, Jerry.
Yeah. Okay. Serena, what'd you think of WALL-E? All right. Okay. Bye.